Okay, we are here with the one and only Benny Crawley from Below Deck Down Under. Great to see you, Benny. Where are you right now? Are you in Australia?
Hey, how you doing, Gina? No, I live in Tulum in Mexico.
That's right. Okay, very
Yeah,
cool. Very
yeah.
cool. And are we?
It's hot, very hot at the moment.
I know, I know, I know. It's your winter, So
Exactly. Yeah.
but yeah, no, great to see you. And the season has been a roller coaster ride for many reasons, especially for you. I first wanted to kind of start off by asking you just about Captain Jason, because I think that's my favorite part with you is seeing like this friendship develop between you guys. You seem to kind of have a parent role. Did you kind of feel like that nurturing vibe from him when you got on the boat?
Immediately, I when I met him and shook his hand in the bridge, he just seemed like someone I get along with, and we had a kind of little grin with each other, and we're like, let's do this. Obviously, you get on, you're so excited, you're so nervous. It'd been so long since I'd been in front of cameras, and I just had that energy back. And meeting, I didn't know what to expect, and he's obviously the first person I saw, and he's just like, "G'day, mate." And the thing is too is like I think we're both in the same boat. He was nervous as well. You could see he's like sort of like stuttering a little bit, and it really calmed me down because I was like, okay, cool, like this is all new for all of us. And immediately I just had this warm feeling from him, and then we just had a lot of banter from the beginning, and he really made me feel it felt safe to be able to talk to him and hang out.
Yeah. So have you ever worked for a captain like him? Because usually they seem kind of tough.
Sure. Jace can be very tough if he needs to be. So,
Yeah.
I was very lucky my previous captain was another Aussie. He was a bit older, but he was chilled, and like as long as we got everything done, and a lot of us on the boat were a lot older, so as long as we respected the boat, and it was more chill. The first captain I worked for was very, very strict indeed, and having come into yachting and having worked in previously quite I guess more relaxed jobs in that regard, it was quite difficult to adapt to that initially. So I've worked for a variety of different kinds of captains, but Jace has definitely been my favourite so far. And I think he thinks he's 30 in his head. So
I know. Did you also get that impression? Like, my God, this man is gorgeous as well. I mean, I think pretty much everyone is like, hot captain.
Yeah, look, I mean, I just, I called him Jerry Butler of the Seas, I didn't want to blow his head up too much.
Yeah.
But, we had little jokes here and there off camera, and like we got along real quickly like that. And just giving, I remember, I think when we first really bonded, we're in the crew mess, and he said something to me about like after the show, our Instagram, and I said something like, "You're going to be selling the Just for Men hair dye," and like, yeah,
Yeah.
we had a bit of a laugh there, and like,
Yeah.
from that moment on, we sort of kicked it off. But yeah, he's great. He's great.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and that's the thing. You felt very comfortable with him because it looks like the boat had a problem with the plumbing in many ways than one. And so in the middle of the night, your first instinct was to go get help from him rather than an engineer or Jamie or something. Is that normal, or would you normally have gone to an engineer or something?
It's really funny looking at that in hindsight. The way that it happened quite differently. Well, it happened differently in real life. I'm not going to go into it because it's the beauty of television. They made it a little bit more suspenseful, but it was actually really funny, to be honest. And I went to Jace because, in all seriousness, I thought he'd help me out. We weren't that close with the engineers. And at that point, I obviously didn't feel that I could get that support from my immediate superior. So I went to Jace, and when I watched that, I'm like, God, I'm going to the captain at 2 a.m. to help me with a plumbing issue. But because of everything that had happened up until then, I wasn't like there was just a lot going on, and I felt again safe to go to Jace, and I knew he'd help me out, and he actually came down and he looked at me and he said, "Benny, have you been to India?" And I said, "No, but I've been to Thailand." He goes, "Sniff it in, Benny. Remember the sewage. We're in India. We're going backpacking." And that's how he got me downstairs. Oh God, because it was, I mean, you've got 2 by 2 meters of space, and it was my sacred space. I didn't really have much else. Poor old Cole was outside on deck at night. And I just remember waking up and hearing the noise, and I opened my eyes, and the smell, you're never really going to understand the smell until you're in there. And it was just like as if I was in the sewage tank, and I just knew like subconsciously what had happened, and I just slowly lowered both my feet until about an inch of poo water. And it was a lot.
Yeah, that's an experience. That is a big experience.
It was a lot.
Yeah. So I want to ask you about the 2 other deckhands, Bertini and Culver. They both seemed just like easygoing, cool people. Did you bond with them right away? I mean, we're seeing you guys become very cohesive now, but did that take some time, or did you automatically be like, these people are cool?
Yeah, look, I'm a puppy dog. I contrary to what I've read a lot of stuff online, like I actually was really happy when I got on the boat. I've been through a lot the year beforehand, but like I was like, shit, I'm in the Whitsundays. I've never been here before. It's stunning. I hadn't been on a boat for about a year and a half, so I was really excited to get on. And then, I was like, oh my God, people. And so, when I met Brittany initially, it's like, I think she was ready. Like she had a preconceived notion in her head that she's like, she's the only female on deck and she's got to stand her ground. And I could feel that. And I respect that, like for sure. It's warranted. And with Culver, he was very easygoing, extremely funny, like from the get-go, like in the room, I was like, this guy's hilarious. Really could make me laugh. We really had a good laugh. And then, and then meeting Jamie as well, I didn't think anything. I thought it was a good bloke. Of course, you'd be naive not to think that there was going to be crew dynamics involved. You're going into reality television. They've picked a nice group of Siamese fighting fish to drop into a small tank together. So, but I just come out of a 3-month meditation retreat. Like, so I was quite chill and like, it was all peace and love. And I was just like, wanted to hug everybody. And then quickly that took a different direction. And I think, if it wasn't the dynamic room with the television and the pressure and like, everybody wanting to look good, things kind of started to go pear-shaped quite quickly. And I think there was a lot of groupthink going on. But, apart from that, initially I think with Brittany, it was like, I came on with quite a lot of experience. And so I was, obviously I think we'll get onto the anchor locker and things like that, but I was trying to, Jason at the beginning was like, help her out, help the green people out, blah, 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 blah. And then that got shut down very quickly. And when I watch myself on camera, like, there's heated moments and I'm like, shit, I've got to learn from the way that I was interacting, because although it is cut, still I'm putting out like quite an intense energy. But yeah, it's funny because I just, at the end, like, Brittany's my home girl now. She's like one of my best friends and I love that girl so much. So I think the journey from the beginning to the end with her has been amazing. And yeah, Culver's just Culver, he's hilarious and he's a great cabin mate.
Yeah, no, they're both a lot of fun. Yes, and I definitely want to ask you about that anchor locker, because for as long as I've been covering Below Deck, I did talk to Jamie. I was like, I have never seen anything like that. And it did look harrowing. He did say it was dangerous, but just don't get in there and you're fine. Have you ever come across that in your experience, something like that?
No.
Okay.
Like I'm not, it is what it is. Like, I'm trying to look at the reality is it's a very small enclosed, like you're taught 101 yachting that the anchor chain locker is the most dangerous part of the boat, or the anchor locker. I mean, the anchor.
Yeah.
And take locker out of the whole thing. We don't need to go on the bloody ankle.
Yeah.
The chain area, you told stories. It breaks people's legs, like all horror stories. There's a guy that bled out in a Russian boat and they just kept going. Like, so you're, very cognizant of the dangers around the anchor. And, Jamie reiterates this later with Brittany. So he just know that area is dangerous. I, had a lot of things that happened before that. I didn't feel that supported by my team. I didn't know who had what skills. The setup for that situation was Brittany was going to be using the controls for the first time. And I didn't know her. I didn't know her. I mean, obviously don't know how I do now, and I'd probably be more harsh now because I know her so well. I'd be like, get the control, you know what I mean? But like, so I'm touching, you know, what's going on here. I'm older, I know, like I still have these childish attributes, but I've life experience has taught me that, you know, I used to climb over 4-story balconies when I was 20. Now I'm like, you know, I make sure that the kettle is not too hot. Like, so that for me was overwhelming, and I want to keep my limbs, you know. I also do. So I'm thinking of all these things, and then you had to go inside the chain locker. Yeah. To basically negotiate this chain that was actually oversized for the vessel. So it's coming up through the hawse pipe. I'm inside it. I'm claustrophobic. Bertini's just got it on. It's coming in at a speed I don't understand. I don't know exactly how to. I'm trying to coil it properly, and it's just bunching up and basically filling the ceiling quickly while I'm in there. Yeah. Okay. That's so scary. I'm like, and then I'm like, stop! Please stop screaming out, and no one stops. So I shit myself. I come out and you see me screaming, please stop, and it's told to keep going. I watched that in horror. My reaction is very real. I'm scared. I've just come out of watching both my parents pass, so I probably have a fear of death thing on top. And, you know, have I ever reacted like that in life? Probably not. I've never been in that situation. Yeah. So it's very interesting to watch myself like that, but it's very real, and it is what it is.
Yeah. Yeah. No, and, you know, it seems like the entire season, you know, Jamie is doing one thing, you're doing another thing, and and then it came to a head, and, you know, and thankfully Jason understood that, you know, you needed to stay. But what was going on throughout that entire experience? Were you constantly like this, or did you not have any idea he was like feeling that way?
I had it was 12 hours in. Mm-hmm. Okay. And I'm not, I don't want to hate people. I don't hate him. I don't have anything against him. But when I look at the constant aftermath and the continuation, I spent a week with him in Miami recently, you know, and then articles are coming out again more and more down this path. It's like, I got to defend myself, or at least say my piece. Yeah. And the reality is, you know, from I think it was 12 hours in, we got called, you know, and whether the production wanted to start creating something or whatever, we had those meetings where we were pulled aside to like discuss our work performance. You know, and I'm like, I used to do kids TV. Like I like to talk, like my camera, when I've got the camera on, I'm like, but like, you know, where is the toilet paper? What is your name? I don't know his name. Like, and he's telling me like, I'm either do this properly, I'm going to bring the drill sergeant out. And he lost me at the word drill sergeant. It was very difficult for me, like I just was like, this is, and then obviously that sets off a chain reaction, because my reaction to that is like, energetically, I'm like, and then like he feels that, and then we just go down this vortex. Do I want to be in this scenario? Absolutely not. Like I came on to have a great time. I was happy. I want to have a good time. But then it started like, and you know, it was a lot. And so that sort of continued from that point. And it was like, I'm watching Seven Eggshells, looking for like trying to do that properly or that properly. And, you know, being made out that I was completely green. I had no idea what I was doing. Like I'm driving the 10-foot tender, you know what I mean? Like I'm in control of a large vessel. It takes a lot, you know, I saw that he said the reason I wasn't able to, was on that was because I couldn't be on the vessel. It's because I've got my license and the experience to drive that thing. You know, Culver and Bertini didn't have their licenses. So, you know, in defense of myself, that's why I was in the tender. Yeah. No. And I know I did read, and he did tell me he really likes you and he thinks that you're awesome and you know what I mean? It just seems like maybe, you know, the way you both work completely opposite, like you said. He's very drill sergeant, and that's just not, you never saw. Yeah, I think, yeah, for sure. I think so. I think it's, you know, again, I don't have anything against him. When we have hung out after the show, it's been lovely, you know, and but it's like at the end of the day, it's like when I watch the tape, especially recently, like it's intense to watch, and it's like, you know, I'm not saying anything negative about him off camera. I'm not like trying to bring him down. I'm not in that mindset. Like, it is what it is, but it's, you know, we have different, I'm telling him from the get-go, like, I need some positive reinforcement. I need some, you know, tell me if I'm doing something right. Like, you know, you got to talk nice, like just talk encouragingly to somebody to get the best out of them. At least that's how I operate. And that's how like, you know, how I am with others. And I wasn't getting any of that. The leadership style wasn't adapting to me, and I was suffering, and I wish I could have changed. And I was, you know, trying to.
Yeah,
it's
hard. Yeah, it's hard.
Yeah.
Did you listen to Hannah's podcast recently with Toomey on it?
I haven't.
Okay.
No.
He made some remarks about Jamie's leadership, just saying this is probably not the job for him, essentially.
Yeah.
So I think it sounds like a lot of people saw him struggling in that position as well. So
It doesn't, like, he's, you know, I mean, like, if he just, like, he keeps telling me I need to listen. But the problem is, from my perspective and my opinion, again, I'm watching myself. I'm not perfect. I'm watching myself on tape.
Right.
There's things I'm learned about myself by watching. This is an amazing, beautiful experience. I get to look at myself and like, shit, like, you know, look at sometimes my partner's like, get away from me. And I'm like, okay. And then I'm like, going back and watch Below Deck, and I'm like, I think maybe I'm doing that. And then go back, I'm like, hey, baby. So I'm literally learning about myself from watching myself, you know, but it's with the listening part, like, yes, there's elements of me that struggle to listen, and I have always struggled, but when I want to listen to somebody, I will. Mm-hmm. And with Jason, you see my interactions with him, I want to listen to him. I want to hear what he has to say, and I want to make him happy, and I want to make him proud. And if he was an asshole, I wouldn't. I don't care I would have been fired on Charter 3. That's he happened to be the captain, and we happen to resonate. Yeah. Otherwise, I'd be off, and whatever other captains like, that's just the reality. But I respected him and wanted to work hard for him. And when I want to work hard for somebody, I'm going to do the best job you can get. And you're seeing that now in episode 13 and 14. The foot's off my head, and I'm allowed to shine, and I'm happy, and I'm up an hour before I'm meant to start my shift to make sure that nothing can be scrutinized. That's what I'm doing. Yeah. Because it's like, if I don't seal every single hole here that can be poked in, something's going to come down. And it's like, I just can't give anybody above me, not saying names, the opportunity to see a little crack that they're going to get. And that's the feeling I had on board, you know? And it's like, but again, I'm working my ass off, and I look great right now. I'm like, damn, you know, it's pushing me. And without our dynamic, we wouldn't have a TV show. We wouldn't have this great entertainment. It's great workplace drama. So, like, you know, it is what it is. And I have no negative feelings towards it, but it definitely, it was a workout.
Yeah. Yes, indeed.
Oh, man.
Yeah. But I think the interesting thing is that amid your drama, we had this other blowing up drama in the kitchen. Did you know what was, because I talked to Bertini, she goes like, I had no idea Ryan and Aisha were going at it. You didn't either.
I mean, Ryan was going to everybody. And, you know, he was lovely to me. He was absolutely lovely to me. I'm like, do I like the way he was talking to everybody else? Absolutely not. You know, and being sitting next to it at the dinner table, I was just like, oh, like, there's a group of people in the dynamic. Like, I've never sat at a dinner table once, 5 minutes in this kind of dynamic. And it's like, you got to sit for an hour while like someone's yelling profanities at somebody. Like, it's like I was watching a reality TV show in it. Yeah. It was amazing. But, you know, like, you know, Ryan, I mean, I know from what I've seen of Aisha, I actually have watched her med seasons, and like, she's not fighting with anyone.
No.
She's, you know what I mean? Like, and same, I don't fight either. So it's like, we're both just like, wow, like getting pushed to our limits and bringing that side out of each other. And like, you know, I think Aisha's obviously learning a lot about herself as well from watching it. Mm-hmm. But I definitely didn't, like, to the extremities. It's like, you know, I was more just in shock at what I was seeing when we're out, you know, with what was occurring. But in the kitchen, like, you know, Ryan fed me. He was always nice. We laughed. Like, you know, he never was mean to me or anything. So, you know, it's just interesting to watch it from that perspective. You don't see a lot of the stuff, you know what I mean? And a lot of the stuff that was happening to me, I didn't even, you know, we're going to probably get onto that, but I didn't even know it was happening. So I'm thinking I'm working my ass off and I'm getting reprimanded for not picking up the weight, and then my whole team thinks I'm not picking up the weight, and I'm just like, literally like, you see me on camera, I'm just like, what's happening?
Right. So it's definitely, and then the whole storyline with Magda on her phone 24/7, it made it seem, okay, yeah.
You don't see it at all, you know. You don't see it at all, and like, I didn't even know she had a boyfriend, so we do know. We do after the third, no.
Yeah.
We do pretty quickly, but you don't know that that's happening. So
it's not just ongoing.
No, like it's yeah.
That's interesting.
It's very real. It's very real. It's not a yacht that I wouldn't stay in that environment for like more than a couple of months, but it's very real. You know, we're doing the job's real. You know, we're doing all the same stuff you do. We're up as late as possible. Like it's very real.
It's brutal. Well, I know when I watched your video, you mentioned that you're not in yachting, and then you kind of said something about doing kids TV. What have you been doing, or what did you do in the past?
I was a kids television presenter in Australia. So when I was like 20 to 23, I was in that whole world. I won a competition. And yeah, I did my own quiz show. Did 65 episodes. It was pretty boring. And what else did I do? Did like a morning studio show. So it was like a new government channel that was launched. So a lot of the people watching now are like, oh, that's Benny from you know. Not that I had many fans back then. But it was, and it was different doing it this time because I really don't care anymore.
Yeah.
And I really did then. I really, really did then, you know. So it was really interesting to come back on camera and just be like, you know. And it's funny because like I used to be so like, I got to get this gig. And like, you know, you're living off it. Your payment checks coming in. You got to build your profile. And then when this call came through, it's like, I'm going to get this because if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. And then it just kind of happened. So it was really interesting to come back and and this is so different to like, you know, the other thing's scripted. So you can think about what you're saying beforehand or whatever. You got a script. With this, it's just like, oh God, I just said that. It's in the ether.
No, but that's it. So what are you doing now? Are you DJing? Is Lazy Susan out on the road or?
I DJ'd I've been DJing for 10 years. I have played a few times in Tulum.
Okay.
And I am getting back into it. I'm going to release a set in the next few days. It's inspired me to make a new set. I want to produce. I've been playing around with Ableton. That's a big dream. So I'm not really playing a lot at the moment, but, you know, I definitely want to get back into it for sure.
Okay. But is yachting sort of, because like you mentioned, you're a little older. I think after a while, it's either you're going to become a captain or you're just going to,
I went into yachting because I went broke with my business
and
I needed to get money quick. So that's why I started yachting at 30, and I just went in and went on charter, and you know, I heard you could, from a friend years ago, you could earn a lot of money quickly, and just literally just saved everything for 2 years, and then now I've started that business with that money that I earned. So below deck was a little dip back into the water, and
would you do it again?
God, I think I got away scot-free. I'm not really into the hot tub shots anymore, so I think I got away with enough drama that you're going to get out of me. But you never know, you know, why not? Like, I'd probably do a couple of months on a yacht first before going back in, so I'm not as rusty. But it was fun. I had so much fun. I loved it. And, you know, I mean, if it was the right, Jace wants me to come back home one day, and we'll see. So
I think that would be.
No, I don't know yet. I just I don't know.
Okay, so it's just open-ended. So. Okay. And before I let you go, who would you say you formed a really strong bond with, in addition to Captain Jason, obviously?
Bertini. Yeah. You know, I mean, she just grew so much on the show. So did I. You know, you think you're always learning, but like both of us we quickly nipped it in the bud early on when we had that scene. And like, we just, you know, she, especially when she looked out for me, she just goes by her values, you know, and she speaks her mind, and like she has no filter, and it's pure what comes out of her mouth, whether it's right or wrong. It's what she's thinking at the time. And you know, we've become really close. We became really close to the latter half in the show, and now, you know, there's a lot of like, she's like a little sister to me. So
she is pretty cool. We both went to the same college, so.
Oh, really?
Well, at very different times, but she is great. And also anything, because I feel like we kind of really covered everything, but is there anything else you'd like to clear up, any misconceptions?
Look, you know, I think everyone's critical of themselves and they watch themselves back. But I really enjoy what I'm watching now. You know, I just guess I'd want to just say that, like, I came in happy and I'm getting happy again, you know, and that's what it's all about. You know, I'm not coming in there with some like trying to recover from something. I just want to have a good time, and you know, and I am now. And I don't know if it's episode 14 next week. It's probably going to be back down, but you know, I'm a happy guy. I just want to have a good time. So yeah. And I did have a great time, and what a beautiful experience I had. And like, you know, the scenery I saw, I mean, you know, I'd be out in that tender and I look around and like, this is absolutely stunning. And, you know, those memories I'll take with me forever. The crew was amazing. And, you know, I have no hard feelings against anybody in the show. We all went and we bared our souls, and here we are. And I've got nothing against certain people. You know, it's just, it's a beautiful experience we had together, and I get to show my kids one day.
No, it's been a great show, a great first season. And yeah, we'd love to see you back on someday. So
beautiful.
Don't completely dip out just yet, Benny.
No. Like I think my partner's like, "You're gonna go back on it?" I'm like, "No." Of course I will.
Of course I will.
Come on. I'm television. I love it.
Yes. Well, make sure you make it known where we can pick up your new set, you know, or if we can.
Yeah. I'll put it on Instagram, and now we have each other. So
very cool.
And thank you so much for interviewing me and giving me time. And
thank you. And look forward to how this all ends.
Yeah, it's not over yet.
I know. Thank God. All right. Take care. Thank you.
Thanks, Gina.